I still remember the day I thought my life finally made sense. "Aisha, you're really staying late again?" I asked, watching her fix her hair in the mirror. She smiled without turning. "You act like I'm not allowed to work hard, Armin." I laughed softly and leaned on the doorframe. "It's not that. It's just, you've been busy every single day this week." She finally turned, walking toward me and tapping my chest lightly. "That's because I want us to have a better future." Those words always melted me. "I already have a good future if you're in it," I said without thinking. She looked at me for a second longer than usual. "You really mean that?" "Of course I do." She hugged me, tight. I closed my eyes. At that moment, I believed nothing could break us. But I didn't know I was already standing inside the trap. A few days later, I met my best friend Raza at the tea stall. "You look too relaxed," he said, stirring his tea. "What's wrong with that?" I asked. Raza leaned forward. "Nothing. Just. Aisha's been asking a lot about your father's property, right?" I frowned. "She's just curious. We're getting married." Raza shook his head slowly. "Curious people don't ask how many documents you have in a safe." I laughed, but it felt weak. "You're overthinking." He didn't smile back. "I hope I am." I left the stall feeling slightly uncomfortable, but I pushed it away. Because Aisha loved me. I was sure of it. At least I wanted to be sure. That night, I met her again. She was sitting on my couch when I entered my apartment. "You used my spare key?" I asked. She nodded casually. "We're engaged, Armin." "Stop acting shocked." I sat beside her. "Raza thinks you're asking too many questions about my property." Her face changed for a second, then softened. "So now your friend is your lawyer?" "He's just worried." She leaned closer. "Do you trust me or him?" That question hit harder than I expected. "I trust you," I said quickly. She smiled again. "Then don't listen to noise." She kissed my cheek and stood up. "I made dinner. Come eat." I followed her like nothing had happened. But something inside me didn't feel right anymore. I just didn't know what it was yet. After dinner, I got a call from Mr. Khalid, my father's lawyer. "Armin, I need you to come tomorrow," he said. "Is something wrong?" I asked. There was a pause. "Just come." "Alone?" I looked at Aisha, who was watching TV calmly. "Okay," I said slowly. After I hung up, she turned to me. "Everything okay?" "Yeah. Lawyer stuff." She nodded. "Good. You should handle everything carefully now." Her tone was gentle. Too gentle. The next day, I went to meet Mr. Khalid. He placed a file on the table. "Your signature is here," he said. I frowned. "Yes, I signed some papers last month." He flipped the page. "This transfer gives partial control of your father's property." I blinked. "What?" "I never agreed to that." He looked at me carefully. "Then someone used your signature or influenced you heavily." My stomach dropped. "Aisha," I whispered without thinking. Mr. Khalid didn't respond. He didn't need to. I stood up quickly. "I need to go." "Armin," he said firmly. "Don't confront emotionally. Collect facts first." But I wasn't listening anymore. I didn't think life could get heavier than losing my father. But I was wrong. The day after the funeral, I just sat in my room, staring at the wall. My phone kept ringing. I didn't answer. Then I heard the door open. "Aisha?" I asked without turning. "Yes," she said softly. I'm here. I didn't even have the strength to look at her. She sat beside me. You haven't eaten anything. I'm not hungry. That's not an answer, she said gently. I finally looked at her. Nothing feels real right now. She nodded slowly. Then let me handle things for you. I frowned. Handle what? Everything, she said. Calls, paperwork, people, you just rest. I laughed weakly. You sound like a manager. I can be whatever you need right now, she said. That line hit me in a strange way. Comforting, but also controlling. The next day, I saw her moving around my house like she belonged to every corner of it. She answered calls I didn't even see. She spoke to relatives before I could. She even organized my father's documents. Aisha, I said, watching her sort files, you don't have to do all this. She didn't look up. I want to. That's not what I mean. She finally looked at me. Armin, you're not okay right now. Let me carry this burden. I sat down slowly. I just feel like I'm losing control. She walked over and sat beside me. You're not losing control, she said softly. You're sharing it with someone who loves you. I stayed silent. Because I wanted to believe her. 2 days later, she brought up something I didn't expect. We should transfer property management to me temporarily, she said while making tea. I looked at her. What? She didn't turn around. Just for safety. People will try to take advantage of you now. People like who? I asked. She paused. Relatives. Lawyers. Anyone. I stood up. That's my father's property. She turned slowly. And I'm your future wife. That word again. Future. She walked closer. Do you trust me or not? I hesitated. She noticed. Her voice softened instantly. Armin. I'm doing this for us. Not for me. I rubbed my face. I just need time. She nodded quickly. Take time. But don't delay too long. Things can get complicated. That last line stayed in my head longer than it should have. Later that week, I met Raza again. He looked at me the moment I sat down. You look worse, he said. I'm fine, I replied. He raised an eyebrow. Really? I sighed. Aisha is just helping me manage things. Raza leaned forward. Helping or handling? She's supporting me. She's managing your father's estate now, right? I frowned. It's temporary. He shook his head. That's how people lose everything, Armin. I felt irritation rising. You don't know her like I do. Raza laughed once. Maybe I know patterns better than emotions. I stood up. I'm not going to sit here and hear this. He grabbed my wrist lightly. Just be careful. I pulled my hand away. I trust her. Raza looked disappointed. That's exactly what I'm worried about. I left before he could say anything else. But his words stayed with me longer than I wanted. I thought the worst pain was losing my father. I was wrong again. Because real pain started the day I saw my own signature being used against me. Aisha, where are you going again? I asked as she picked up her purse. She didn't even hesitate. Just meeting a lawyer. I frowned. Again? She smiled softly. Armin, I'm handling legal things for us. You don't need to stress. I stepped closer. Why are you meeting lawyers so often? Her smile didn't fade, but it tightened. Because paperwork takes time. I watched her for a second. Which lawyer? She paused just half a beat too long. Someone Raza recommended. That name again. I nodded slowly. Okay. She walked past me, kissed my cheek, and left like everything was normal. But my chest felt heavy. I didn't know why. Later that day, Raza called me. You need to come out, he said. I'm not in the mood. It's not a request. Something in his voice made me move. We met near the same tea stall again. He didn't even sit properly before speaking. I saw Aisha yesterday, he said. So? She was coming out of a legal office that is not for simple paperwork. I sighed. Raza, you're always assuming the worst. He leaned forward. And you're always ignoring reality. I rubbed my forehead. What do you want me to do? Accuse her of everything without proof? Raza stared at me. You're already losing control, Armin. I stood up. I'm not having this conversation. He grabbed my wrist again, harder this time. Then you'll regret it later. I pulled away. Stop. And I left. But his words stayed behind me like a shadow. That night, I came home earlier than usual. The house was quiet. Aisha wasn't there. I walked into my father's old study. Something felt off. The drawer was slightly open. I never leave it open. My heart slowed. I pulled it carefully. Inside was a file I didn't recognize. A legal document. My name was on it. My signature was on it. I froze. No, I whispered. I opened it fully. Transfer authorization. Partial property control. My father's estate. All tied to my signature. I felt my hands go cold. This is impossible, I said out loud. I checked the date. 2 weeks ago. That was when I was emotionally broken. When Aisha was handling everything. My stomach dropped. The door opened. Aisha? I said quickly, hiding the file. She walked in calmly. You're home early. I stared at her. What is this document? Her eyes flicked to my hand. Then she smiled lightly. Oh. That. My heart pounded. Explain. She walked closer, too calm. It's just protection paperwork. I didn't agree to this. You did, she said softly. I stepped back. I would remember signing something like this. She sighed like I was being difficult. Armin, you were not in the right state. You trusted me. That word again. Trusted. I felt anger rising. So you signed for me? I helped you, she corrected. I slammed the file on the table. This is my father's property. Her voice lowered. And I am trying to protect it. From who? From people who will take advantage of your grief. I stared at her. You mean me? I asked quietly. She didn't answer immediately. That silence answered everything. I stopped trusting conversations after that night. Words started feeling like traps. Smiles started feeling like strategies. And Aisha, she started feeling like someone I no longer fully recognized. Aisha, you're going out again? I asked as she grabbed her phone. She nodded without looking at me. Meeting Sana. Sana again? I asked. She finally looked up. Yes. Why? I shrugged. Nothing. You've been meeting her a lot lately. She walked closer and adjusted my collar. You're becoming suspicious, Armin. I'm just asking. She smiled lightly. Then stop asking like I'm doing something wrong. I didn't reply. Because I didn't know anymore. After she left, I sat in silence for a long time. My phone buzzed. Raza. I answered. You free? He asked. No. I'm coming anyway. Before I could refuse, he hung up. He arrived 20 minutes later. He didn't sit. You're letting it happen, he said. I frowned. Letting what happen? Everything, he said sharply. Your father's property, your documents, your life decisions. I stood up. Stop talking like she's stealing from me. Raza stepped closer. Then explain why she's meeting lawyers without you. I clenched my jaw. She's helping me. He laughed once. Helping you lose control, maybe. I pointed at the door. If you're here to insult her, leave. Raza didn't move. I'm here to save you. I looked away. I don't need saving. He sighed. That's what every victim says. That word hit hard. Victim. I turned back. I'm not a victim. Raza nodded slowly. Then prove it. Take back control. I didn't answer. Because part of me already felt like I had none. That evening, I told Aisha I needed space. She looked surprised. Space from what? She asked softly. Everything, I said. She stepped closer. Armin, are you okay? I avoided her eyes. I just need to think. She studied me carefully. Did someone say something to you? I hesitated. That hesitation gave her enough answer. She smiled faintly. Raza. I stayed silent. She sighed. He's poisoning your mind. I shook my head. He's just concerned. She touched my hand. He doesn't know us. I pulled my hand back slightly. I don't know anything right now, I said honestly. That was the first time I saw fear in her eyes. Not guilt. Fear of losing control. The next day, I came home earlier than usual again. I didn't tell her. I just wanted to observe. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I walked slowly toward the living room. Voices. Aisha. And another woman. I stopped behind the wall. Sana, Aisha said softly, you don't understand how close everything is now. Sana sighed. Are you sure he won't find out? Aisha laughed lightly. He trusts me too much. My chest tightened. Sana lowered her voice. But what about after marriage registration? Aisha paused. Then said, that's when ownership becomes clean. My breath stopped. Clean. Ownership. Sana hesitated. And if he questions it? Aisha replied calmly, he won't. He's too emotional right now. I closed my eyes. Because I finally understood something. This wasn't confusion. This was planning. I stepped away before they could notice me. I walked outside the house. My hands were shaking. I called Raza immediately. I need you, I said. His voice changed instantly. Where are you? Outside my house. I'm coming. I sat on the steps, staring at the ground. For the first time, I didn't defend her in my mind. I just listened to what I heard. And it scared me more than anything else in my life. I didn't go back to the same version of myself after that night. Something inside me changed. Not loudly. Not suddenly. But permanently. Armin, you didn't sleep again? Nadia asked as she placed tea in front of me. I shook my head. I can't. She sat across from me. Raza told me everything. I frowned. He shouldn't have dragged you into this. She leaned forward. You're my cousin. I'm already in this. I stayed quiet. Because I didn't have the energy to argue anymore. Raza arrived soon after. He didn't even greet me properly. "Did you tell Khalid everything?" he asked. I nodded. "And?" I looked at both of them. "He said I need proof." Raza sighed. "Then stop reacting. Start collecting." Nadia nodded. "We need to document everything she does." I rubbed my face. "I don't even know where to start." Raza pointed at me. "Start by acting normal." I frowned. "Normal?" "Yes," he said firmly. "Let her think nothing has changed." That idea made me uncomfortable. Because it meant pretending. And I was already tired of pretending. That evening, I went home like nothing was wrong. Aisha was cooking again. She smiled when she saw me. "You're home early." I forced a calm voice. "Yeah. I was tired." She walked closer. "Are you feeling better?" I nodded. "A bit." She touched my face gently. "Good." I didn't react. But inside, I was watching everything now. Every movement. Every tone. Every pause. Later that night, she sat beside me on the couch. "You've been distant," she said softly. "I'm just stressed," I replied. She leaned on my shoulder. "About what?" "Everything," I said. She smiled faintly. "You don't need to carry it alone. I'm here." Those words used to comfort me. Now they felt heavier. Like chains disguised as care. The next morning, I met Mr. Khalid again. He didn't waste time. "Did you confront her?" he asked. "No," I said. He nodded. "Good. That's progress." I frowned. "How is that progress?" "Because emotion ruins evidence," he said. I leaned forward. "Then what do I do?" He opened a file. "We track everything. Meetings. Transfers. Conversations if possible." I swallowed. "That sounds illegal." He looked at me directly. "What she's doing may already be close to it." That silence hit harder than anything else. Raza and I started meeting every day after that. He helped me set small traps. Not physical ones. Logical ones. Paper trails. Bank checks. Property logs. Every time I checked something, I felt like I was stepping deeper into something I didn't want to face. But I kept going. Because stopping meant losing completely. One evening, Nadia called me urgently. "She's meeting someone again," she said. "Who?" "Lawyer. Same office." I grabbed my keys immediately. Raza stopped me. "Don't confront." "I'm just watching," I said. He nodded. "Then watch quietly." I stopped reacting to her words the way I used to. That was the real change. Not anger. Not sadness. Just silence. A controlled silence. "Armin, you're becoming distant again," Aisha said one evening while pouring tea. I looked up from my phone. "I'm just tired." She sat beside me. "You say that a lot lately." I nodded. "Work stress." She studied my face. "You're hiding something." I forced a small smile. "Am I?" She didn't smile back this time. "Yes." For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she leaned closer. "Is it Raza again?" I shook my head. "No." But inside, I noted how quickly she guessed. Too quickly. After she went to sleep that night, I met Raza outside. He handed me a folder. "Bank records," he said. I opened it slowly. Multiple small transfers. Multiple accounts. All linked indirectly. My chest tightened. This is a lot. Raza nodded. And it's not random. I looked up. What do you mean? She's building something structured, he said. Not emotional. Planned. I closed the folder. So it's real. Raza didn't answer immediately. Then he said, it's been real. You just started seeing it late. That hurt more than I expected. Nadia joined us later that night. She looked serious. I found something, she said. I frowned. What? She sat down. Sana messaged someone about you. I froze. About me? She nodded. She said Aisha calls you easy to guide when emotional. The words hit like a slap. I didn't respond. Because if I did, my voice would break. The next morning, I acted normal again. Aisha was already awake when I came out. You're up early, she said. Couldn't sleep, I replied. She walked over. Thinking again? Always, I said. She touched my arm gently. You overthink too much. I looked at her hand. Then at her face. And for the first time, I didn't feel comfort. I felt analysis. Later that day, she told me she was going out. Meeting Sana, she said. I nodded. Okay. She paused. You're not going to ask questions? I shrugged. Should I? She smiled faintly. You're changing. I replied softly, maybe I'm just learning. That made her expression tighten for a second. Then she left. The moment she closed the door, I grabbed my phone. I texted Raza. Follow her if you can. He replied instantly. Already on it. I exhaled slowly. This wasn't impulsive anymore. This was coordination. 2 hours later, Raza called. His voice was low. You need to hear this carefully. I stood up. What happened? She didn't just meet Sana. I froze. Who else? Raza paused. Imran. My grip tightened on the phone. Where? Cafe near the legal office. I closed my eyes for a moment. Then said, stay there. Don't confront. I'm not stupid, Raza replied. And hung up. I didn't wait. I went there immediately. I stayed outside again. Same pattern. Same place. Different truth. I saw them clearly this time. Aisha. Sana. And Imran. Talking like a team. Not strangers. Not chance meetings. A structure. A plan. I didn't move. I just watched. And for the first time, I didn't feel heartbreak. I felt confirmation. The day of the court felt unreal. Not because I was nervous. But because I finally knew I wasn't walking in blind anymore. I was walking in prepared. Armin, are you ready? Raza asked as we stood outside the court building. I adjusted my shirt. I've been ready for days. Nadia looked at me carefully. Don't lose control inside. I nodded. I won't. But inside, I already knew this wasn't about control anymore. It was about truth. Aisha arrived with Imran. I saw them before they saw me. She looked confident. Too confident. She smiled when she saw me. Like nothing had changed. Armin, she said softly. You came. I nodded. Of course. Imran looked at me like I was an obstacle. Not a person. Just something to remove. Inside the courtroom, everything felt colder. Mr. Khalid sat beside me. He leaned in. Stay calm. Let me lead first. I nodded. Across from us, Aisha sat with her lawyer. Still calm. Still smiling slightly. Sana was not present. That surprised me. The judge entered. Everyone stood. My heart stayed steady. Not fast. Not slow. Just steady. Aisha's lawyer spoke first. She willingly signed all documents, he said. There was full trust between both parties. I clenched my fist under the table. Mr. Khalid stood. Your Honor, he said calmly, we will prove that trust was manipulated. Aisha finally looked at me. Her eyes didn't look sad. They looked certain. Like she already knew the ending. Then my turn came. I stood up. Walked forward. The courtroom felt silent. State your name, the judge said. Armin, I replied. Do you confirm these signatures? I looked at the documents. Then at Aisha. And said, no. A murmur spread. Her lawyer immediately stood. Objection, he's emotionally unstable due to grief. I turned slightly. Grief doesn't make fake consent, I said. The room went quiet again. Mr. Khalid presented the evidence. Bank records. Communication logs. Legal inconsistencies. Each one felt like a step forward. Not just legally. But mentally. Like I was finally standing upright again after months of bending. Aisha finally stood up. Her voice was calm. This is not truth, she said. This is misunderstanding. The judge looked at her. Explain the transfers. She smiled faintly. I was protecting him. He was not in a stable condition. I turned slowly. You call that protection? I asked quietly. She looked at me directly. Yes. That answer shocked even her lawyer for a second. Raza whispered beside me. She's still trying to control the narrative. Nadia leaned forward. She thinks emotion will save her. I didn't respond. Because I didn't sleep the night before the verdict. Not because I was scared. But because I finally understood what I was walking into. This wasn't just a court case anymore. It was the final line between who I used to be and who I had become. Armin, you ready? Raza asked as we stood outside the court building. I adjusted my shirt. I've been ready for days. Nadia looked at me carefully. You don't look nervous. I shook my head. Nervous doesn't help anymore. Raza nodded slowly. Good. Keep it like that inside too. We walked in together. The courtroom felt colder than I expected. Aisha was already there. Sitting confidently. Imran beside her. Sana behind them. She looked at me and smiled. Not warmly. Not sadly. Like nothing had changed. Like she still believed she had already won. She leaned slightly toward her lawyer. Then whispered something. I didn't need to hear it to understand. She still thought this was under control. I sat down quietly. Raza leaned close. She looks confident. She always does, I replied. But not anymore, I added in my mind. The judge entered. Everything went silent. Case regarding property ownership and disputed authorization begins, he said. My heart stayed steady. Not fast. Not slow. Just steady. Aisha's lawyer spoke first. She voluntarily transferred partial rights during emotional distress, he said. He pointed at me. My client trusted the defendant completely. Aisha nodded slightly, like it was already proven. I didn't react. Mr. Khalid stood up. Your Honor, he said calmly, we have evidence of systematic manipulation. He placed the files on the table. Bank records. Messages. Meeting logs. Signature analysis. Everything. The courtroom shifted slightly. I saw Aisha's expression change for the first time. Just a little. Not fear. Not panic. Confusion. Like something she didn't expect had entered the room. The judge reviewed the documents slowly. Minutes felt like hours. Then he looked up. Where did these authorizations originate? He asked. Mr. Khalid replied, under emotional influence during bereavement period. No independent legal consent. Aisha's lawyer stood quickly. Objection, these are interpretations. The judge raised a hand. Sit. Silence returned. Then it was my turn. I stood up. My voice didn't shake. I did not understand what I was signing, I said. I looked at Aisha. She was watching me closely now. For the first time, not smiling. I trusted someone close to me, I continued. And I lost control of decisions I should have made myself. Aisha's fingers tightened slightly on the table. But she still didn't speak. The judge leaned back. He spoke slowly. After reviewing all evidence, my heartbeat stayed steady. The court finds the authorization invalid due to undue influence and lack of informed consent. A pause. Then the final words. All disputed property rights are restored fully to the original owner. For a second, I didn't move. Neither did anyone else. Then I heard Raza exhale. Nadia covered her mouth. And Aisha didn't speak.